pounded against the windshield with relentless ferocity, each drop a tiny hammer against the glass. The wipers struggled to keep up, their rhythmic swish-swish creating a hypnotic backdrop to the storm. Inside the car, a sense of unease settled over James and Anna as they navigated the winding, forested road. "Do you think we should have stayed at the motel?" Anna asked, her voice barely audible over the drumming rain. James glanced at her, his grip tightening on the steering wheel. "We'll be fine. It's just a little rain. Besides, we're almost home." But Anna wasn't convinced. She peered out the window, the dense trees lining the road casting eerie shadows in the headlights. The GPS had warned them about the remote route, but they had been eager to get home after their weekend getaway. Suddenly, the car jerked to a halt, the engine sputtering before dying completely. James cursed under his breath, turning the key in the ignition to no avail. "What's wrong?" Anna's voice quivered. "I don't know," James replied, frustration creeping into his tone. "The engine just died." He reached for his phone, only to find no signal. The couple exchanged worried glances, the rain intensifying as if mocking their predicament. They were miles from the nearest town, stranded on a desolate road with no means of communication. "I'll check under the hood," James said, grabbing a flashlight from the glove compartment. He stepped out into the storm, the cold rain soaking through his clothes instantly. Anna watched him through the windshield, her anxiety growing with each passing second. James lifted the hood, peering into the engine. Everything seemed in place, but he was no mechanic. As he fumbled with the flashlight, a flicker of movement caught his eye. He turned, shining the beam into the woods. The rain made it hard to see, but he could have sworn he saw something, a figure, maybe, lurking just beyond the tree line. "James, hurry up," Anna's voice cut through the rain. James shook his head, dismissing his unease. "Nothing I can do out here. We'll have to wait until morning." He climbed back into the car, his soaked clothes clinging to his skin. "We should stay in the car and keep the doors locked," he said, trying to sound confident. Anna nodded, her fear palpable. They settled into an uneasy silence, the rain pounding against the roof. Hours passed, the storm showing no sign of letting up. James dozed fitfully, waking with a start at every noise. Then, a loud thud against the car jolted them both awake. Anna stifled a scream, clutching James's arm. They listened, hearts pounding, as another thud echoed through the night. "Someone's out there," Anna whispered, her eyes wide with terror. James grabbed the flashlight, his hands shaking. "Stay here," he said, though every fiber of his being screamed at him to stay put. He stepped out into the storm again, the rain a deafening roar. He circled the car, flashlight beam cutting through the darkness. Another thud, this time from the trunk. He hesitated, fear gripping him, summoning his courage. He moved toward the back of the car. The trunk lid was slightly ajar. James's breath caught in his throat as he reached for it, lifting it slowly. The flashlight beam revealed nothing but an empty trunk. Relief washed over him, quickly replaced by confusion. What had caused the noise? As he closed the trunk, a voice, low and guttural, whispered in his ear, "You shouldn't have come." James spun around, the flashlight beam dancing wildly. No one was there. Panic surged through him as he ran back to the car, slamming the door shut. "There's something out there," he gasped, his face pale. "We need to leave, now." "But the car." "I don't care. We need to get out of here." James's desperation was contagious, and Anna nodded, her eyes wide with fear. They climbed into the back seat, hoping to put as much distance between themselves and whatever was out there. James fumbled with the keys, trying the ignition once more. Miraculously, the engine roared to life. They didn't question their luck as James slammed the car into gear, speeding down the rain-soaked road. But the sense of dread only grew as they drove. The road seemed endless, the trees closing in on them. The GPS flickered, the screen distorting before going dark completely. "What's happening?" Anna cried, her voice trembling. James didn't answer, his eyes fixed on the road. The car's headlights flickered, then died, plunging them into darkness. He slammed on the brakes, the car skidding to a stop. And then they saw it. A figure stood in the middle of the road, barely visible in the torrential rain. It was tall, its features obscured by shadows, but its eyes, glowing red, pierced the darkness, locking onto them with malevolent intent. "Go! Drive!" Anna screamed, but the car wouldn't move. It was as if an unseen force held it in place. The figure moved closer, its eyes never leaving them. James and Anna clung to each other, paralyzed with fear. The car's interior grew colder, their breaths visible in the frigid air. the figure reached the driver's side, a hand pressing against the window, the glass frosted over, ice spreading from its touch. The car shook, the figure's grip tightening. "Leave this place," it hissed, its voice echoing in their minds. And then, as suddenly as it had begun, the nightmare ended, the figure vanished, the rain stopped, and the car roared back to life. James wasted no time, flooring the gas pedal and speeding down the road. They didn't stop until they reached the safety of their home, the horrors of the night fading into an almost surreal memory. But neither James nor Anna ever took that road again, haunted by the specter of a rainy night drive they would never forget.